I gotta get a video done real quick, okay? And then once I'm done, we can go play ball, okay? But I gotta get some work done first. This is how I pay for your kibble and your treats and your toys, okay? Thanks. I have talked on this channel for ages, about 47 times, maybe more than that, about how the Pixel devices, like this Pixel 9 Pro Fold, is lacking one of the biggest multitasking features that I absolutely want to have, and that is floating windows. We have it on the OnePlus Open, we have it on the Z Fold devices, we have it on pretty much every other large screen device, but we don't have it on the Pixel tablet, we don't have it on the Pixel Fold or the Pixel 9 Pro Fold. Today, we're going to look at a news article, of course, Android Authority, from the great Mishaal Rahman, that has me a little bit nervous. Headline: Android 16 could let you put any app in a floating bubble, and here's a first look. Now, that word bubble is what makes me nervous. Mishaal says while they were digging through the latest beta for the quarterly platform release of Android 15, they found a reference to a bubble anything feature. With a little bit of tinkering, they managed to fully enable Bubble Anything in QPR Beta 2. Now, they're saying that this is potentially coming for Android 16, but it's in Android 15 QPR 2 Beta, so just kind of take that part and stash that away in your brain. When this is coming, if this is coming, is still a little bit up in the air. But basically how this works is you can long press now on any icon and you will see this bubble icon, which will allow you to launch it into this sort of floating window look. They've got a video here of how this actually functions, and it's fairly straightforward. Basically, you can launch an application in a bubble and it's floating over here on the far right, and if you go to do something else, it's going to be able to be minimized into its bubble form, as you should see here in just a moment. There's a little bubble bar down here where the bubbles actually sort of minimize themselves down to, and there you go, they just minimized away into the bubble bar. You can see it floating down here in the bottom right hand corner, and the general idea is that you're going to be able to do that with any application if this feature actually does roll out. Now you may be saying, Shane, what about this is scaring you? What about this makes you nervous? Well, let me tell you, this is not the floating windows that I think we want. So while I don't have this exactly up and running on my Pixel 9 Pro Fold, I do have access to the same bubbles that we all have access to, and this is a message bubble with my wife. And you can see it just sort of floating here. I can actually grab it and I can move it around left or right, and it gives you a quick, easy way to just jump back into that message. Even if I'm inside another application like Threads, I can tap on that and it's going to show me this text message in a floating window. The problem with this is the flexibility. With a floating window, I want the ability to actually move and resize this thing. If I can't move and resize it, it's not doing the same thing because I can't see the app behind this. If I tap the other app to go interact with it, it's just going to minimize the bubble. And then I go back into the bubble, I may as well just have this app full screen. It's not doing me any good. So replace this app with anything else, replace it with any other application, and I can't help but feel like I might as well just be switching directly to that app. Now, yes, Mishaal does show here on the Pixel tablet that there is a handle, and he has the ability to grab the app and move it, but it looks to me as though it can only be over here or over here. It doesn't look like it can be anywhere, and I do not see a way, maybe I'm wrong, but I do not see a way for it to be resized. Now, this is something that we can do on other devices, and that's what makes it good. So here we are on my OnePlus Open, and we're going to go into the app drawer, and we're just going to grab Wise, we're going to drag it to the middle, and we can actually release that as a floating window. I can move this anywhere I want it, and I can resize it. I can't change the aspect ratio on the OnePlus Open, but I can resize it. Pops over there to the corner. I can move it over here to this corner. And the general idea, what I use this for all the time, is if I'm waiting on a package I need to sign for, I can just have this application up here in the corner, and I'm going about my day doing what I'm doing, and I can see what's coming up to my front door, and I'm not going to miss that package. With this implementation, you're going to be stuck with it either here or here. There doesn't appear to be a way to make it small and put it up in the corner. There doesn't appear to be a way to put it anywhere else. It's lacking flexibility. Now, I want to be really clear about a couple of things. One, we don't know if this feature is ever actually going to launch. We have seen lots of features pop up buried in betas that never actually get released. We've also seen lots of features buried in betas that do get released, but in a fairly different form from how we initially saw them. Things get altered and changed before they're actually released. Now, I've heard for a long time from a couple of different sources that the reason floating windows hasn't actually been a thing yet on Pixel devices is because that floating window is in some way tied to what they're doing with their desktop mode. And of course, in this latest beta on the Pixel tablet, we actually do now have access to a desktop environment. You can see here in this animation multiple floating windows that are resizable, grabbing that top app, dragging it down, switching to this desktop mode with the taskbar pinned, multiple applications floating. So this is something that they are working on. So I'm wondering if indeed they are tied together. Is this bubble thing something separate? Is this how they're going to do floating windows on non-tablet devices? There is a ton still up in the air about this, and we just simply do not know how this is going to go. I do find it odd, though, that we would have these two concurrent things, right? So on the Pixel tablet, we have this bubble thing working, but then we also have the desktop mode, which seems to be very, very similar to this, but like better and more flexible. So it's like, hey, here's a way to do floating windows in a desktop mode. Here's a way to do kind of a floating window, but you can only, it's very limited. It's a very limited version of the desktop mode that's attached to bubbles. I just don't think that all of this adds up. I would be very surprised if both of these things launch because they overlap really, really significantly. Maybe I'm wrong. Look, this is Google. They do things their own way. They march to the beat of their own drum. So who knows what's going on, but that's just what I think. I do want to hear what you think in the comments down below, though. Do you think that I'm just wrong about this? Do you think this actually looks good? How would you use this? What am I missing? Let me know in those comments down below. Definitely check out the link to the full article down there in the description because there's plenty of stuff in there to read as well. Thanks to Michelle for more great reporting, guys. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more content just like this. And until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.